All right, you guys, welcome back to eXp Family Tree Wednesday Productivity Mastermind and Training. Once a month, we have Coach John Dietz on. And as always, it's fire. If you want to become a better listing agent, you should tune into these every month because he truly knows his stuff. We're grateful that he's part of our group because we learn from him and not everybody gets a chance to do that. So that's all I got to say about John. If you know him, you love him and you learn from him. So we're going to keep moving forward. If you guys haven't chatted in the chat box where you're from, please do that. I'm going to keep letting people in, John, because I'm sure now that we're live, we'll have some more people join. What have you been hearing in the market? What have you been coaching your clients to when it pertains to listings? What is like the hot topic today that we should be making sure people know?
Awesome. Thanks, Cari. All right. I'm excited that Megan's here. Megan is a friend. She's been somebody that I've been working with for quite a while. She's east coast of Florida. She put Space Coast. I think a lot of people in the country that are not from Florida aren't 100% sure what Space Coast means. Melbourne, Cocoa Beach, that area. So if you have referrals for Megan, give her a call. Her number is here. All right. So that's it. Everybody make it a great day.
I'm out of here.
All right. So here's what I'm hearing, Cari. Listings are hard to find. I've been hearing that for a while. And even though the market has slowed down considerably, fewer homes are being sold, there's still a shortage of inventory. Now, we can either wait for people to raise their hand and say, I'm interested in selling my home, or we can go find them. And better yet, even better than going to find them, be the reason they want to sell their home. So let's start there. And what I'm coaching agents to do is really double down on circle prospecting. Now, I'm going to teach you a method that I've been teaching for a while. If you've heard it before, cool. Repetition is the mother of learning. So it's a 3-step circle prospecting strategy. So first of all, you're going to look at a neighborhood that you work in, a neighborhood that's in your market, and search the MLS, find a neighborhood where a property is sold within the last week. Shouldn't be that hard to do. You should be able to find a different neighborhood to call on every single day. And you're going to download the names and contact information for everybody in that neighborhood. I would use Red X or I would use Vulcan 7 in order to do this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mail a postcard to everybody in the neighborhood. And the postcard is going to be my picture, my brand, my contact information. It's all about me as a real estate agent. Now, the message is going to be a home in your neighborhood recently sold, which is great news. And there are still buyers who are looking to buy a home. And who do you know that might be thinking of selling their home in the next 6 months? Now, 2 days later, you're going to go and walk the neighborhood with a flyer that looks exactly like your postcard. So they got your postcard, should have showed up in the mail the day before, maybe that day, and you're knocking on their door. Now, when they open up the door, it's, hi, my name is John Dietz. I'm a real estate agent with eXp. And the reason I popped by today is a home right around the corner from you recently sold. Matter of fact, I sent a postcard out a couple of days ago. You might have already got it. And I'm stopped by today because we have buyers that are looking to buy in your neighborhood. And I was wondering, who do you know that might be thinking of selling their home in the next 6 months? Now, the next day, I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call everybody in the neighborhood. So excuse me one second. I sent out a postcard. A couple days later, I walked the neighborhood. I put a flyer on the door that had exactly the same message as the postcard. If they answer the door, I'm speaking to them. And then the next day, I'm calling everybody in the neighborhood, Cari. Now, here's what I know. I know that when a home sells in a neighborhood, typically within 6 months, at least 2 additional homes are going to go on the market. Now, you can wait and see who they hire, or you can be proactive and be the person they hire. Now, this is 100% a cold call. However, what's good about it is these homeowners are not getting called daily like for sell by owners and expireds. They're a little less angry, Cari. On the angry scale, they're not a 10. They might be a 5, just they're having a bad day. Who knows? Who cares? And I'm looking for people who are thinking of selling. Not right now, doesn't matter to me. Next week, doesn't matter. It could be 6 months, a year from now, right? I want to earn the opportunity to be your agent. Now, here's what that means. I will send you interesting information on the real estate market once a month, and I'll call every 3 or 4 months just to check in. Now, what you're doing is you're building your pipeline, Cari, and now you're systematically following up with people, which means they're in your database, and you're following up with them in order to create emotional proximity. And that simply means when I get serious about selling my home, I'm going to hire the person who is closest to me. All right. Being the reason they sell, when you're talking to people, you've got to have, first of all, you've got to be the local economist of choice. Speaking of listing skills, you need to know data better than anybody else does. And the more data you know, the more you internalize it, the better. In other words, how many homes are on the market? How many homes? What's the average list price to sell price ratio today? How does that compare to the same time last year? What is the average days on market today? How does that compare to the same time last year? Are there more homes being sold now, or were there more homes being sold a year ago? If sales are down, how much are they down? What are they trending? If we're paying attention to the writing that is on the wall, the data tells a story. What is the story? Is it telling us that we're in a seller's market or we're moving into a buyer's market? Now, based on all of that, I'm going to ask questions. I'm just going to spit them out as fast as I can here, Cari. Okay. If you knew your home was worth more today than it would be in the next 5 years, what would you do? Did you own a home in 2008? Did you still own that same home in 2010? Was there some point between 2008 and 2012 that you wished you would have sold it back in 2008? Is it possible that this time's like that time? If it was, what would you do? If you wait to put your home on the market and there's more homes on the market when you put your home on the market, there's more competition. Is it easier to sell your home when there's less competition like today, or when there's more competition? If interest rates go up, is your home more affordable or less affordable? If you wait a year to put your home on the market and one of your neighbor's homes is foreclosed on, did the value of your home go up or did it go down? Now, all of these questions are what we call harm's way questions, and they're designed to help people think differently. Logic makes us think and emotion makes us act. So when you ask somebody, if you waited a year to put your home on the market and there's more homes for sale, is it going to be easier or harder to sell your home? It's a logic question. Now, here's the emotion. If you end up selling your home for less, if waiting meant you lost $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, how would you feel about that? So we led with a logic question. We followed up with an emotion question. Logic makes us think. Emotion makes us act. Now, here's another thing we know. People are motivated by avoiding pain. They're more motivated by avoiding pain than they are by going towards pleasure. And when there's two situations that are both painful, the greater pain wins. So, for example, you might talk to somebody today that says, you know, I'd sell my home, but where am I going to move? There's nothing for sale. Now, my response to that would be, I understand. And is moving twice a possibility? If you could sell your home today at the top of the market and rent for a year, and buy a year from now when there's more homes for sale? Would you do that? Now I'm playing chess, guys. I know the answer to the question. It's no. I know the answer before I ask it. I'm planning on it. I'm counting on it. And they're going to say no. And I'm going to follow that up with why not? Because it's a pain in the ass, isn't it? Yeah, it is. All right. Then the next question is the pleasure of selling your home at the top of the market worth the pain of moving twice? Now, don't be surprised when you hear is good. If you're taking notes, write down go for When you hear that, it means they're thinking. And all I'm doing is asking questions, isn't it? Okay. Cari, that was long-winded, but that was pretty much the answer to the question. What am I coaching my agents on when it comes to finding more seller listings in today's market? Right?
Yeah, I'd love to see if there's anybody that has been doing it, anything that they have questions on to clarify. If you have any for John, because this is, I mean, we need to continue to get listings, and it is a different script that we have to be using. So does anybody have any comments? Go ahead and unmute yourself. Don't be shy.
Cari, I can keep talking if there's no questions.
Yeah, let me see. I don't have
actually, I can add in.
Yeah.
I just had a closing yesterday. And I still think the circle prospecting idea is really great for this, because not only did I have a closing, I also sold it $25,000 over list price in this community. So, and it's a very heavy townhome community. So lots of absentee owners as well, because they are, a lot of them are rentals. So it's a really good opportunity for me to reach out to these absentee owners and say, hey, listen, I just sold this well over ask price. And, the real estate market isn't dying in Florida yet. And the key word is yet.
Good job, Megan. By the way, it's been a while since I've seen you. You look great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I miss you.
Same. And if you have multiple offers, which I'm guessing you did in this situation, guys, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take the first page of each of the offers that didn't get accepted. All right. If you're knocking doors, this works really well. Okay. We had multiple offers on the home that just sold. And matter of fact, we had 10 offers and 9 people wanted to buy in your neighborhood who couldn't, which means I currently right now have 9 buyers who want to buy in your neighborhood and there's nothing for sale. Who do you know that might be thinking of selling their home? Now, here's the thing, guys. That's if you sold it, you were the listing agent. Right. Now, are these 9 buyers your buyers? No, they're not. They're being represented by another realtor. However, can you call that agent and say, you could call all 9 of them and say, hey, I've got another listings going on the market, same neighborhood. It's going to be available Monday next week. Of course you could, and you should. So I've been teaching something a little bit different, Cari, and I'll get into that conversation while we're waiting for more questions. By the way, interruption rule simply means whoever interrupts rules. So just interrupt me and I'll stop talking, I promise. So if you thought of your listing business like a franchise, what would it look like? If I were to buy a McDonald's franchise, and it's not about, oh, yuck, McDonald's, but there's people here who love McDonald's. I'm one of them. So here's the point though, you can't argue the fact that if I went to a McDonald's in Idaho or I went to a McDonald's in Florida, it's the same quarter pounder every single time. McDonald's has an operations manual that they're going to give you as the new owner of that McDonald's. And matter of fact, they can predict how much money you're going to make because they've been doing this a while and they're really good at it. And what if you could do the same thing with your listing business? What if you franchised it? In other words, every step of the process was exactly the same. When I greeted a homeowner at the front door, it's exactly the same. Now, what if I were to sell John's listing franchise and you bought a copy of it, you got my operations manual and you started using it, and you're in Atlanta, Georgia, or you're in North Carolina, like Angel. Did I get that right, Angel? Thumbs up. Good. You're in North Carolina like Angel, or you're in Idaho like Cari, and you knock on the door, and when the homeowner answers the door, you immediately are on stage. So it's big smile, dressed professional. I've got my Kodak moment. I've got 10 seconds to make a great first impression. I mean, the operations manual, right down to what you should be wearing and how you greet that person at the front door. So, hi, Angel. My name's John Dietz. We had an appointment today at 4 p.m. It's 4 p.m. May I come in? So it's franchised, including these are the steps that you're going to take in order to take more seller listings. Now, the next step is you're going to walk in the front door and you're immediately going to stop and say, and there's scripts that go with each of the steps too, by the way. So you walk in that front door and wow, you have a beautiful home. I'm so excited to be here. And I am looking forward to the opportunity to help you sell your home. Okay, first of all, that's an embedded command. Make sure you pay attention to that. Secondly, what do you think that does? What's the message to the homeowner?
It's going to happen in the future. It's like you're taking them from A to B already with that type of language.
So there you go, Angel. So what I'm saying is, here's how this appointment's going to end today. You're going to hire me. That's what I'm saying. So I'm immediately assuming the listing. Now, if they're not ready, they'll tell you, oh, I'm not sure if I'm ready to list my home today. Your answer is, okay, I understand. That's it. And keep going, right? Now, the next part of this process is you're going to tour the home. But before you tour the home, you always, because it's in the operations manual, going to set your things down at the kitchen table. So, Angel, I'd love for you to give me a tour of your home. And is it okay if I set my things at the kitchen table first? Now, the reason that's important is because that's where business gets done. Listing Skills knows that where you have the meeting matters. And you don't want to sit in the dining room. That's where they entertain. That's where they have holiday dinners. You sit at the kitchen table because that's where business gets done. You don't want to sit outside in the 90-degree heat. And trust me, oh my gosh, Cari, especially in Florida, you go to anybody older on this call, they're going to get offended. You go to an older person's home and they put their it's 95 degrees outside and they're like, you want to sit outside? You're like,
no, I do not.
It's freaking hot. And you're out there and the sweat's just pouring and you're like, you know what? I don't want your listing. Pain or pleasure? I am more motivated to get into the air conditioning than I am to list your home. So bye.
Yeah.
All right. So we want to meet at the kitchen table. There you go. Now, when you're touring their home, listing skills. Ask questions, take notes, be enthusiastic, like their home. I've had so many sellers say to me, John, so-and-so was out to see my house and they didn't even like it. Now, why would they say that? Because the agent was enthusiastic about their home. Or, Billy Bob with Ego Real Estate went to the house and Billy Bob's walking through the house and pointing out everything that's wrong with it. All right. Oh my gosh, purple fuzzy wallpaper. What the heck were you thinking? That's got to go. This cabinet's got to go. This floor, they start staging the house. They start picking it apart. That's not your job. Not now. If they ask you, could you show us what we need to do in order to get our home ready? In other words, can you help us stage our property? Absolutely. That's part of the service that I provide once you hire me. That's part of the service that I provide once you hire me. That's your answer. All right. Now, if it's a simple question like, John, we were thinking of painting this room. What do you think? I would. That's your answer. Just real quick and easy, 2 words, I would. Now, if it's a major fix up, we'll take a look at that later. That's your answer. All right. You get to the kitchen table. That conversation is exactly the same every single time. Lead with gratitude. All great listing agents start with gratitude. Thank you for meeting with me today. It is always a privilege and an honor to discuss the possibility of the Dietz team representing someone in the sale of their home. Next step is set expectations. Whenever I meet with a homeowner, one of 3 things typically happens. One of those 3 things will happen today. Either number 1, they understand and appreciate the benefits that I have to offer, and they hire me, which is awesome. Or the second thing that happens every so often is they don't hire me, and quite honestly, that's not so awesome. And the third thing that happens once in a while is I may choose not to take their listing. And then you're going to pause just like that. Now you're pausing because you want to hear, why wouldn't you take my listing? The response to that, because I'm following the operations manual, is that's a great question. I'm really glad you asked, and I think you're going to love the answer. You see, if I feel that a homeowner has a goal or an expectation that I cannot meet or exceed, I would rather turn the opportunity down today than let you down 6 months from now. Now, I hope you caught that it was never about the homeowner until I got to the very end. I started with, whenever I meet with a potential seller, one of 3 things typically happens. One of those things will happen today. All right. I'm turning the opportunity down. I'm not turning them down because I don't want to let them down. Now it's about them. All right. So this is your needs analysis. Now, whenever you're doing a needs analysis, and this is in any type of sales, what you're finding out is, where is their pain? Where do they need your help? Okay. And the next step is to prescribe a solution for their pain. They've got goals. Here's the prescription in order for us to achieve your goals. In other words, here's how we're going to achieve your goals. Now, most real estate agents think that they've got to have a big, beautiful, expensive marketing presentation. Not at all. Seller is asking them 3 questions about you, and Megan put it in the chat. Can I trust you? Do you care about me? Do you know what you're doing? Now, another way of saying, do you know what you're doing, is, can you help me? I don't care how fancy your marketing presentation is. I don't care how many homes you've sold. I don't care how expensive the car is you pulled up in. I don't care about any of those things. What I care about is, can I trust you? You care about me.
Mm-hmm.
Can you help me?
Mm-hmm.
And your solution, based on their needs, is based on, here's what we're going to do to achieve your goals.
Mm-hmm.
You want a contract within 30 days because you're moving to Atlanta and you need to be there no more than 60 days out because you're starting a new job, and you don't want your family to be living in 2 different states while you're trying to sell the house. That's important. Here's how we're going to make sure that happens. Here's the pricing strategy to make sure that we get your home sold under contract within 30 days. Guaranteed. No questions asked. Because I am a strategic pricing professional. I know exactly what we need to do in order to position you to be the shining star in your market, to make sure that you beat the competition. Because at $645,000, you've got 8 other homes that you're competing against. 4 are selling every 30 days, which is great. But are you going to be one of the 4?
Mm-hmm.
Well, not if you hire the wrong agent. Not if they don't know how to strategically position your home to be one of the top 4.
That's critically important. Make the wrong decision, hire the wrong agent, and your home might still be for sale 4 months from now. All right, Cari, I'll take another break. Feel like I'm
I have
just
a ton of people watching live and they're all giving thumbs up. No questions on the live chat, but lots of people watching. So hi to you guys there. Anybody want to just unmute and share some ahas or add anything? Or ask a question as we slow down for a second?
So 13 years in production before I got out of production. And in that 13-year time period, I listed an average of 10 to 12 homes every month. And you know, what's interesting is it was the same number when the market was hot. It was the same number when the market was cold. You know, it's interesting because it makes me wonder, you know, was I living up to my potential?
Yeah.
It feels like I should have taken more listings. Probably when the market's cold, because it's easier to get listings when the market slows down than when the market's hot. So why wasn't I taking more? I don't know. But here's the point I want you to hear. Regardless of what the market's doing, you can get your number. You know, we hear this thing about fair share. I'm just trying to get my fair share of listings. And my thought is, what the hell is that? Whoever told you, go get your fair share, right? You know, get your unfair share, right? Look in your local market. Everybody that's listening, whether you're here in this group or you're in workplace, look into your local MLS. And I want you to look at how many properties are going on the market every 30 days. Get that number. Do this every month. It's important that you know. How many homes are going under contract every 30 days? How many homes are selling every 30 days? Also, how many homes are coming off the market every 30 days? These are the properties that the market rejected. There's a new script for you. These are not expired listings. This is a list of the homes that the market rejected. Now, here's what I want you guys to understand. If there are 1,000 or 2,000 properties being listed every month in your local MLS, and your goal is to list 2 in the MLS, and the market slows down by 50%, it goes from 2,000 listings to 1,000. Can you still get your 2? If it goes from 1,000 to 500 and your goal is 4, can you still get your 4? The answer is yeah, of course I can. Then why are you accepting less? You know, if I invited 10 people over to my house for pizza and I ordered 2 large pizzas, 20 slices, that's 2 for each of us, right? Now, the delivery driver screws it up and delivers 1 pizza. Now there's 10. How many slices does everybody get?
I know John's still getting 2.
That's right.
That's my answer. My answer is I'm getting my 2. The rest of you can figure it out because I'm going to get my unfair share. Now, is that wrong? Ask your kids if it's wrong. You're paying for their college tuition. You're providing them a home, clothes, food. Ask them if they feel like you're being greedy. You're not being greedy. You have a responsibility to your family to be as successful as you could possibly be.
Yeah.
Make more money than you need because maybe God has somebody that he wants you to help out, and you can't help them if you don't have the money.
Right.
All right, that's my soapbox speech for the day, Cari.
Yeah.
Listing skills. Fierce negotiator.
Mhm.
By the way, if you haven't paid attention, there's 3. Local economist of choice, strategic pricing professional, and fierce negotiator. Now, how do you become a fierce negotiator? Number 1, don't be attached to the outcome. If you're attached to the outcome, you're not going to be a fierce negotiator. Your attitude, needs to be, honestly, I don't care if this deal comes together or not.
Yep.
I don't. I'm never more motivated than the seller is. So when a seller is saying, I've got an offer, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I have an offer of $430,000 on your home, right? And the asking price is $450,000. And they're coming back with, I'm not taking less than $450,000. You can give up your commission if you want the deal to come together. My response is, I'm not more motivated to sell your home than you are. If you don't want to sell your home, that's good with me. So we can reject the offer for $450,000 if you want. Now, if you do that, just do that knowing that this might be the best offer you got.
Mm-hmm.
And if you knew it was the best offer you were going to get, what would you do? It's the same when you're talking to the co-op agent.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have real estate agents who are attached to the outcome. And they're going to freak out on you. And it's going to be weird and strange. And you're just going to shake your head and go, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Okay. Your job is to negotiate on the behalf of your client. If I can add one more thing in here, Cari,
yeah.
It's to negotiate on behalf of your client, not for your client. I don't know where real estate agents started believing that they were responsible to negotiate for their client.
Mm.
Now, it happens all the time. You have an agent call and say, okay, so Cari, the offer on your listing is $430,000. Now, what should Cari do? Thank you. I will talk to my seller and I'll get back to you. What do a lot of real estate agents say? They'll never take $430,000. $440,000 is the lowest they're going. It happens all the time. And they don't even talk to their seller. Now, that buyer may have come up to $450,000 and that listing agent just gave away $10,000. So don't be attached to the outcome when you're negotiating with the other agent either. Be a fierce negotiator. Walkaways are really powerful. When you're willing to walk away from the transaction, you've got more power. If I've got a seller who's beating me up on commission, I'm going to go right back to, when we first met, Mr. Seller, I mentioned with you that whenever I meet with a potential client, one of three things typically happens. Everybody's picture just went away, Cari, and it got really weird. It's like, boom. One of three things typically happen when I meet with a potential seller. Either they hire me, which is great, or they don't, which is not. And sometimes I choose not to take the listing. And that would be if I feel that a seller has a goal or an expectation that I can't meet or exceed. Remember that? I think this time might be that time.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're at a point where you have a goal or an expectation that I can't meet or exceed. So maybe I just need to send you a cancellation agreement. When you have a seller who is just not cooperating, and it's been on the market for a long time, and you're negotiating for a price reduction, you're a fierce negotiator.
Mm-hmm.
Send them 2 documents. Send them 3 documents. Send them an updated market analysis. Send them a price change addendum, and send them a cancellation agreement. And just ask them, sign one of these and send them back.
Mm-hmm.
Be willing to walk away from the business.
It's
Okay.
powerful. The takeaway is powerful. If you're unattached to the outcome, oftentimes that's when you have the most power. And sometimes you have to tell them that, and then it makes them reassess the partnership and the relationship as well. So I love that. And that's very powerful when you go into listing appointments. For me, when I went into listing appointments or when I went into recruiting appointments, one of the things that I noticed when I got fundamentally better and had a higher conversion rate was when I was completely unattached to the outcome and I did not care if I got the listing, and I did not care if the recruit joined me. And the reason I didn't care either of those things was because I had a big pipeline and I didn't need it. And so there is, there is a different energy when you go in needing something that people can feel, whether you know it or not, and how you act, what you say, your behavior, your energy, your body language, all those things reflect it. And when you just really, really, truly don't care, you act differently, you portray yourselves differently, and your energy is completely different. And people do respond to that. My scripts didn't change. My value proposition didn't change. Nothing really changed. My preparation didn't change. My mindset going into it completely changed. The only way I was able to free myself of that and move myself into that mindset was to have enough business opportunities that I was okay, like literally okay, that I didn't get it. If I was trying to trick myself and saying, oh, I don't care if I get this or not, but deep down I needed to get it, that wasn't the solution. The solution was I literally had to have enough in my pipeline. So I fundamentally didn't care. It didn't impact me negatively. That's key.
So what Cari just said was awesome. And if it's okay, I'm going to repeat it the way I heard it, and I'm going to slow it down a little bit for everybody that couldn't keep up with you. What Cari said is, if you want to get to a position where you're not attached to the outcome, the answer is get more listings, have more properties under contract. When you have 20 active listings, you have 5 properties under contract, it's easy to not be attached. When you don't have any listings and no contracts, you're attached. You are 100% attached to the outcome that you might need to take that listing. I mean, you have a desperate need to take that listing, and it is so hard to not be attached when you really need the business and you still need to be unattached. You need to be willing to walk away if it's not the right opportunity. I promise you there's another one coming. Here's the solution. Go get 2 more listing appointments. 2 more listing appointments solves every problem you're ever going to have. You have a sale cancel today? Cool. Go get 2 listing appointments. You have a buyer fire you today? No worries. Go get 2 listing appointments. It solves everything. So, Cari, the subject on today's flyer that I read was listing skills, right? And I believe that we covered the listing skills necessary prior to getting the appointment, in order to get the appointment, the skills necessary in order to get the listing, and the skills necessary to get price reductions and negotiate contracts. So
I love it. Important takeaways, you guys. Great stuff. This is live streamed in eXp Family Tree, so you can go back and watch this anytime. You can also find this by tomorrow on my YouTube channel if you want to share it with somebody who can't access eXp Family Tree. We want to be able to bless other people that even aren't in our world with this content because it's very powerful. So please look in both of those spots or one of those spots if you want to re-listen or share it with somebody else. As always, every Wednesday, we're back here at the same time, same Zoom link with other guests. John will be back again in August, as he always is. We've got Sharon coming back in August, talking about operations and systems again, as always, and a couple other guests. So please take a look at that. If you don't have the schedule for August, that's because it's not out yet, but it will be in the next couple of days. Reach out to John or I if you need it. Thanks you guys for being here. We very much appreciate you. And if you need to contact Coach John Dietz at gmail.com is how you reach John. All right, you guys. Thanks so much.
bye, Cari. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.